So this is Peter, and he shares how the sauce is made with a picture of his office. And I think this is the world that many people live in right now, and maybe the world that we're all going to get pushed in sometime in the future with all these AI chatbots. He's got multiple screens, multiple keyboards, multiple mice. You can see it on his desk right there. And just like tons of AI chatbot windows open, how the sauce is made. And I want to go over this world because we got a real scare in the market from new AI type technology. And someone put a meme, which I thought was pretty funny. There's the boss, right? Basically telling the workers to pull the cart. There's the leader, which is essentially pulling the cart with the workers. There's the introvert. You do it all by yourself. And then I guess this is the world we're in right now. ADHD introvert with AI. And I'll let you guys read that any way you want. It's a little bit scary. It's a little bit funny. And it feels like the end of the world is coming with these kind of memes. Then you've got this. This was the Wall Street Journal today. Here's where AI is tearing through corporate America. Long story short, people are coming to work this week, right? They see what's going on in the markets. They see what's going on in their various industries, and they're asking their, chief product officers, chief digital officers, however you want to call these people, hey, how can we use AI in our company? Should we cancel all of our subscriptions to all those other software companies because now can we just code the things that we need to do in-house? Can we do legal in-house? Can we do financial and accounting in-house? And it's really causing a lot of disruptions. I want you to have listened to what Jensen Huang has to say about some of the stuff going on.
I think that in the next generation of physical AI, we're going to have AIs that understand the physical world, understand causality. If I tip this over, it's going to tip all of that over. They understand the concept of a domino. Just the concept of a domino. Notice a child understands if you tip that over, blah, 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 blah. The concept of the domino is deeply profound. The causality, contact, gravity, mass, all of that is integrated into a domino, tipping dominoes over. The idea that you could have a little tiny domino, tip a larger domino, tip a larger domino, tip a larger domino, to the point where there's a ton on the other side, a child has no trouble with that concept. A large language model will have no idea. And so we have to create a new type of physical AI.
And so what they're talking about is a lot of discussions with AI, but how quickly is this thing going to develop, right? And will it be a bunch of dominoes in the way that, he's thinking about like physical AI is taking it from code into cars and robots or whatever. And just in my mind is like, dang, you're talking about like dominoes and, toppling our current structures. Listen to someone over at Anthropic talk about this stuff, see what they have to say.
I'll maybe give a vignette from what it's like right now inside Anthropic on our labs team, which is we are regularly producing 2,000 to 3,000 line, pull requests with each other, especially on the labs team where we're moving extremely quickly.
Is Claude being written by Claude?
Claude is being written by Claude. Claude products and Claude code are being entirely written by Claude. When Dario, I think, was on stage a year-ish ago and was like, oh, by the end of the year, 90% of code is going to be written by Claude. People thought it was crazy, but we were already seeing that trajectory. Right now, for most products at Anthropic, it's effectively 100%. It's Claude writing. And then what we've done is created all the right scaffolds around it to let us trust.
And you're hearing it from the hardware side and the software side. And now do be aware, these two guys, they're out to sell you stuff, right? They want to push this AI world. But I just want you to hear what they're saying. The first guy, Jensen Huang, is like, okay, physical AI. We're talking about dominoes toppling everything. Then this guy's like, okay, we got this AI that's writing itself, basically. And in both of these scenarios, and even in the first scenario, you're eliminating humans. That's kind of their goal here. And then you got stuff like this. People kind of showing you real world examples of how these things work.
So I finished setting up ClaudeBot, or OpenClaw as they call it now, on this $25 phone. So it's actually running inside the Termux app on this $25 phone, and it has access to all the hardware on it. So I call this now my Claw phone. So OpenClaw lives on this thing and it can control the hardware. So I'll show you that as an example. I'm talking to it over Discord as you would any other OpenClaw agent. So I'm gonna say, hey, Claw phone, can you toggle the flashlight on and off for me? So then it's going to receive that over Discord, and then it's going to toggle the flashlight on and then back off. And it's using the Termux API, which is a way for things, programs that run inside of Termux to do things on the phone like a app would. And the cool part about that is,
so at the moment, and he uses the example here of the flashlight. It's like a really good remote control. You type it in, right? Tell it what to do, and he'll show another use case scenario just so you have a general idea of how these things work.
Normally a person or a program would be using it. But now an agent through OpenClaw can just use the Termux API and do things on the hardware. So there's some other cool things that we can do. One of them is I'm going to ask it, okay, Claw phone, can you please take a picture with the back camera and then please describe what you see in that picture. And then I'm going to hold the phone, and I'm actually going to take a Raspberry Pi and point the phone at a Raspberry Pi while it's taking this picture. So I'm going to go ahead and send that in. And then I have a Raspberry Pi right here. It should be looking at it, and we'll see what it ends up doing when it takes a picture. That picture is being taken. You can actually see with the little green icon that ClaudeBot or OpenClaw just took that picture. And then it's going to throw that picture back into Discord for us to see. And then it's going to run that picture through the model that we have. So right now we're using GPT 5.2, and it's going to run it through that model and then give us a description. So that's what it just saw. Let's see what it gets back with. I actually don't know what it's going to say because I haven't taken a picture of a Pi before. Hopefully it knows what a Pi is. But yeah, so it said single board computer is Raspberry Pi, USB cable.
Yeah, and you can see it all right there of all the stuff that it can describe. And it even says the photo is rotated 90 degrees, which is interesting. Now, at the moment, in this particular use case scenarios, it's a bit slow. I just want you guys to see it for yourself in real time, like how long it takes to do these kind of tasks. But there's certainly going to be things that are automated. And I actually, true story, boy, it's a long time ago already. I think it was like 6 years ago. I went to a meeting at Amazon. It was the kind of meeting where you couldn't share. You had to sign a non-disclosure agreement, an NDA thing. And they were actually demoing this kind of technology for us. It was pretty interesting at that time. I was like, dang, look at this stuff. And basically what they were showing is how you put cameras all over your house and the AI would map out facial expressions. That's kind of what they're going at. And then kind of figure out what the scene is and what everyone's mood are. So how to basically surveil people. But this is, that's one technology. This is a different type of technology, but it's all kind of related. Now, I want you to think about in the real world, how are companies using this right now and what could it be used for? Listen to this exchange regarding Waymo.
Yes or no, does Waymo employ humans located remotely to help its vehicles navigate difficult driving scenarios?
Senator, they provide guidance. They do not remotely drive the vehicles. As you stated, Waymo asks for guidance in certain situations and gets an input, but the Waymo vehicle is always in charge of the dynamic driving task. So that is just one additional inputs.
But the human being helps the vehicle to navigate those difficult driving scenarios. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So are all of these human operators located in the United States? Are they all here?
No, we have some in the U.S. and some abroad.
So how does that break down? What percent are abroad?
Senator, I don't have that number for you. We can get back to you.
Is it a majority are abroad?
I just don't have that number.
Well, that's very curious that someone who's running the program has no idea how that workforce breaks down. It just seems kind of curious that you don't know that answer. But are some of these operators located outside the United States?
Yeah, some are located abroad.
Yeah, and so for me, that's fairly shocking. Waymo has critical safety employees who may need to intervene in a split second if a Waymo encounters an unknown dangerous situation located in the United States, but they are outside the United States. In what countries are these employees located?
The Philippines.
Jimmy?
The Philippines.
So they're in the Philippines.
I think you kind of all see where this is going, okay? if you have this technology at the moment, I showed you the one where the guy can turn on the light on and off, you can turn the camera on and off, identify what's in the photo, the camera, and the video. And I told you before I went to the meeting over at Amazon with the facial recognition, these kind of things. And now already companies like Google, which is a subsidiary of companies like Waymo, which is a subsidiary of Google, already has basically agents monitoring their vehicles in the Philippines. You kind of know where it's going. They're going to eventually replace all the people with robots and AI and that kind of stuff. And Elon Musk already wants that world, and he tells you that world is awesome, these kind of things. And I think, anyone who watches this is just a normal person, right? Not as a tech bro CEO who wants to fire all the workers and try to profit everything for themselves. I hope you guys can see the danger of the world that they want. If you automate everything and eliminate humans, eliminating humans in the jobs, eliminate humans in other ways I think it should be obvious. I saw the movie Terminator the same way that you did, or code that writes itself. And these are the kinds of things that we need to talk about in a realistic way. What's crazy though, these days, is basically much of what people are thinking in terms of the future of AI is all greed. It's all based on greed. The people who are pushing it the most are the greediest individuals, be it your Musks, your Trumps, or whatever. And also regular people are kind of greedy as well. Listen to this kind of thing.
All right, so you can see Claudbot just opened my TikTok, and overnight, in the last 14 hours, she has been going crazy, doing something called social arbitrage. You can see all these tabs open up. Essentially, she's been looking up different keywords and finding different brands, companies that match those videos. So what people are talking about before Wall Street can even understand the concept, our Claudbot is going to be going ahead and finding new ideas. For example, nobody saw Abercrombie blowing up until it was too late.
And so what these people are doing, and they hop on social media and they'll make all these videos. And he says here, this is from him, Claudbot's first 1 billion use cases here. She scours TikTok for trends before Wall Street notices 24/7, 365, finding alpha. And I guess the thing that the plan is, we're going to have all these windows open. We'll be searching social media nonstop and looking for whatever trend and making whatever based on that. And supposedly you're going to be a billionaire. But in my opinion, I think all of this stuff is a scam. Does the technology exist to search a bunch of videos and spam stuff? Probably. And you're probably going to see a whole bunch of like spam content on YouTube. You already see it now. AI generated, you already see humans doing AI stuff. It's just real. I don't say it. So I purposely talk to you like a human being. Sometimes I mispronounce words. Sometimes I stutter. Sometimes I sound kind of a bit strange. And people make fun of comments. Oh, Chris, why are you so dumb? You said the word wrong. It's just like, dude, I'm human. I'm a human person, right? A lot of stuff what you'll see out there on YouTube is heavily edited, all scripted, much of it AI, and it's a bunch of BS. And what I'm trying to push for is critical thinking, education, because the scams are going to be plentiful and many. I'll give you an example. This is something I was just looking at on Reddit here. They say, be aware of possible scams with Moltbot, OpenAI, Claude Agent, etc. And it goes through all these different things because basically like these people want you to download whatever kind of thing or run whatever kind of code. They get access to your computer and it's game over. I mean, and even if like, let's say, for example, let's say they don't steal your data or whatever, but maybe they're after your processing power or whatnot. There's any number of things that can be going on. So be careful out there, the stuff you're putting on your computer, which I think you guys know this. Fake Moltbot AI assistant just spreads malware. So AI fans, watch out for scams.
This episode is the clearest explanation of Claudbot on the internet and how you can use it to make money and be more productive. Claudbot feels like hiring a digital operator who works around the clock and actually ships. Once you see it in action, it changes how you think about building, how you think about delegating, and how you think about scaling. In this episode, we break down real use cases, how to get started, the risk, and why this is becoming a serious leverage tool for solopreneurs and founders.
And you kind of see where this is going. Everyone's basically saying, hey guys, you're all going to get rich. Wow. Right? And a lot of it is driven by greed, removing the human element, driven by greed. And so scammers are going to take advantage of these kind of people. Then you're going to have legitimate companies also pushing this stuff. And I think essentially what it's going to be is eliminating human jobs. That's essentially their goal here. Take a look at this. This is from Google. Google anti-gravity is what they call it.
We know that writing code is often not the primary time sink for front-end or full-stack developers. The much more mind-numbing tasks are clicking around and typing the same things over and over to test the functionality, or to make sure that your site is responsive to different screen sizes. This is why, in anti-gravity, there is such a focus on closing the loop between the editor and the browser. The agent will verify its work within the browser, iterate accordingly, and then report on its results. For example, if I ask anti-gravity to modify this website to have a contact form, you'll see that in its implementation plan, there is a full section on how the agent will verify its changes using the browser. After making the code change, the agent can click, scroll, or type to test its new feature. In the final walkthrough, it not only reports that it completed the verification, but also inserts screenshots and recordings. We believe anti-gravity is the first product to present this browser-in-the-loop verification for software engineering, leading to a whole new era of front-end and full-stack development, one with more focus on what's being built and with less worry on AI-generated slop.
So when he was describing this use case scenario for your AI, and again, this is Google anti-gravity, the first thing that came to my mind is like, okay, the future is going to be websites designed by these AI agent bots. And then the only people or things, I guess you could say, looking at said websites are going to be other AI agent bots who are going to be talking to each other and filling out forms with each other. And I guess, like, where do we fit in this equation? If I want to get something done, I just push a button and the robots talk to each other and then come back with me with an answer. Maybe. And then if we are in that world, how many people have jobs at this point? Usually the safe jobs are going to be, I'll just say this, like trade crafts, these kind of things, like where you can't really send robots to go do certain kind of stuff. But when you listen to Jensen Huang, and that's why I showed you guys in the beginning, they're talking about physical AI. Now we're talking about eliminating jobs, throughout, or just the job of driving a car or driving any kind of vehicle, delivery vehicle and whatnot, which is a lot of jobs like that, delivery jobs, taxi jobs, any kind of transportation. Is that the world that we really want or need? Like it's so crazy, because if you look at the number one thing that people are talking about right now is the economy, and I can't find a job. That's like regular people's lives. And you have the Elon Musk, the Donald Trumps, and all these corporate dudes that are like, yo, let's replace as many people as we can and think how awesome the world's going to be. And it's just, can you guys hear yourselves? And that's sort of the question I always pose. And this is sort of why I have a discussion with you, because I think most people are not having the discussions, unfortunately, the average person out there or the tech bros, because the narrative right now at the moment is greed. How can we eliminate as many people as we can? And how can we just make a bunch of money for some people, but not for everyone? And that is a K-shaped economy. Do appreciate your time. I want to hear your thoughts on these things, and I'll catch you on the next video.